And welcome back, sports fans, to Nick's Picks. I am your host, Nick, the main event Barnes. And as we dive off into college football, as you know, we got Alabama and Georgia this week. A big matchup. I like Alabama to pull the victory out of there. Miami and Pittsburgh, which will help Miami bounce back from that loss to Clemson last week. Clemson is going to be taking on Georgia Tech, which they should win that game easily. We got UCF and Memphis, which should be a really interesting ball game. And of course, we have a whole scope of college football that'll be going on with the Big Ten coming back into play next week. Now, as we dive off into baseball, which has been truly a remarkable series on both sides, because at one point it looked like the Rays were just going to run away with that series. But unfortunately, Houston has made a game of that. We got Game 7 tonight. That ought to be a huge matchup with, I think, Houston possibly losing that game. I know you thought I was going to say winning, but I still like my Rays to get into the World Series. Then we go to the flip side, and we got LA, and we got the Braves. The Braves ran off to a huge victory off into that one, went up 3-0. Then Dodgers were able to come back and win 2, and they should have another game today in which the Dodgers, I think, will win and possibly force that into Game 7, and then we should see who can win both Game 7. So that has been interesting on the baseball side. Make no mistake about it. Whoever wins, whoever comes out there, I think we're going to have a great World Series. Now, as we talk about a little basketball, just a little note that I want to throw out there. I know that, LeBron and the Lakers have won the NBA title, but I just want to look forward into the NBA draft, which is coming up. We're going to have a full draft special coming up, but I want to tell you this, man. The Warriors, man, sitting at number 2, they are in a great position to make some huge moves and possibly get themselves back into the Western Conference picture next year. And the reason why I say that, because there's a lot of teams who are in need of making an upgrade through the draft. And so there'll be some opportunities for the Warriors to go out, maybe possibly make a trade and maybe get a veteran player to come in there. If not, get some draft picks for later on down the line. But don't get me wrong, even if they don't, I think if they take Weissman at number 2, he will be a great addition for that basketball team, and there's a possibility that the Warriors could possibly get back into the Western Conference conversation, depending on how Clay does with his rehab. So that's just something I want to throw out there. Like I said, we're going to do a full NBA draft special, and that's what we're going to do is talk about the entire draft. Now, as we switch gears, we're going to continue to talk about everything that goes on in the world of sports here at Nick's Picks. Now, as you know, I have this segment that I call What Were You Thinking? And of course, this week's winner is going to be Dan Mullen. And the reason why I'm giving Dan Mullen this distinction this week is because last week Dan Mullen played Texas A&M. They lost that football game. But in losing, he made a comment in saying that Texas A&M had more fans in the facility than what should have been allowed. Now, if we look around college football, and I watch a lot of football, and every stadium I see a lot more fans, that shouldn't be allowed in the stadium. But hey, if you can get away with an extra 1,000 here or there, I'm sure these colleges are not making no exceptions, and they're doing that. So I'm not upset about it, but now Dan Mullen comes out and made the stupidest phrase I could come up with. And the reason is he wants to put it 90,000 in the swamp. He wants the 90,000 to give Florida the home field advantage, prior to their game against LSU. And then the week starts off, and then boom, what happens? Karma comes right back around and bites him in the you-know-what. So now he's got all these positive cases from players. Come to find out the super spreader was his wife. You want to talk about karma. But anyway, so now all these players tested positive. You got to reschedule your entire football game that was scheduled to be played on Saturday because of your COVID concerns. And then, just to add insult to injury, what happens later on that week? Dan Mullen tests positive for COVID-19. Now, come on, man. If that is not adding insult into injury, I don't know what is. Come on, man. You cannot come out with a statement like that in the day and age and the times that we're living in this new normal where COVID still continues to be a threat to the world of sports and to the world in general. You have to be smarter. Luckily, his AD came out and said said he was going to leave that into the hands of their medical experts, and I'm pretty sure they would not have agreed with it. But, I'm just saying, no, come on, man. We have to be smarter in this day and age that we're living in, because COVID is not going nowhere right now. So let's deal with it, and it's going to continue to affect the world of sports. But let's continue to be smart to where it doesn't stop the world of sports as we know it. So that is my what were you thinking moment of the week, and that distinction belongs to Dan Mullen. Great job, Dan. Go Gators. Not now. But anyway, so that's what we have to think about. And as moving forward, let's be smarter and let's go ahead and continue to enjoy the world of sports. And now, as we do every week, with it being our NFL week, we're going to talk about Nick's picks, and we're going to give you our predictions. Last week, like I said in the midweek report, we did really well. We went 11-3, a couple of hiccups. I mean, man, look at here. We're getting close to where we're going undefeated for a week. We got a couple of huge matchups this week. We're going to talk about those as we give our picks and as we move forward. And now we get ready to dive into... Our first game is
Texans-Titans.
Texas and the Titans, man. Romeo Crennel finally got a victory last week, but unfortunately his win streak will end at 1 because Tennessee is playing grown man football. I like Tennessee to win that game. Our next game is
Ravens-Eagles.
Ravens and the Eagles, the battle of the birds, man. Unfortunately for the Eagles, they will get picked by the Ravens. Next game is
Falcons-Vikings.
Falcons and the Vikings, man. You will be tempted to take Minnesota in that game, but I think when a new coach comes in, he infuses life into an organization, and I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow, and Atlanta will finally get his first victory. Next game is
Browns-Steelers.
Browns and the Steelers, two hard-working towns, but guess what? The hardest working town will be Pittsburgh. I like the Steelers to win that game in a very close game. Next game is
Bengals-Colts.
Bengals and the Colts, man. I know you would like me to say the Bengals, but I am not. I like the Colts. I like what Phillip Rivers is doing there. I think they will get the W there. Here we go. Next game is
Lions-Jags.
Lions and the Jags. Matt Patricia has infused life into the organization of Detroit that has been seen since Barry Sanders days. I think Detroit will get that win. And our next game is
Bears-Panthers.
Bears and the Panthers. Look here. I've watched the Bears now for a couple of weeks. I finally got to film and looked at a couple of their ball games, and I must say that defense was ferocious, and I truly believe that defense will help lead them, and Nick Foles pulling the trigger at quarterback will be a huge upgrade for them. So I like the Bears in that game. Next game is
Washington-Giants.
Washington and Giants, man. Here you want to talk about a team that mishandled their quarterback. Dwayne Haskins, I thought, would have been a great fit in Washington, but of course I thought the mishandling and the way this new coaching regime has treated them has hurt them, and I think that's going to hurt them continually for the rest of the season. So I like the G-Men to win that game. And our next game is
Broncos-Patriots.
Broncos and the Patriots. Man, COVID-19 continues to stick its head up into the Broncos as well as the Patriots organization, and I do believe that the Patriots will come out with a W tomorrow, even though they will lose a few key pieces for that game, but I like the Patriots to win that game. Next game is
Jets-Dolphins.
Jets and the Dolphins. How about my boys from the get 2 games in a row? Yes, you heard it right here. The Dolphins will win on a win streak, winning 2 games in a row because we get the lonely Jets to play. Next game is
Packers-Bucks.
Packers and the Bucks. Man, we got 2 goals. We got Aaron Rodgers on one side, and we got Tom Brady on the other side. But at the end of the day, I think with all the injuries that Tampa Bay has tried to overcome throughout the season on the offensive side of the ball and the offensive line continue to play poorly, I like Green Bay to win that game. Next game is
Rams-Niners.
Rams-Niners. Man, at the beginning of the year, when we looked at this game on paper, we thought that was going to be a really, really big football game. But we're starting to see separation between those 2 teams. We're seeing the Rams continue to surge, and we're seeing the 49ers go backwards, dealing with injuries and things of that nature. So I like the Rams to win that football game. Next game is
Chiefs-Bills.
Chiefs Bills, Monday night. Man, look at here. The Bills coming off that loss on Tuesday night, which I think is going to be a lingering effect going into this game. And then remember when I talked about the rich keep getting richer? That's what's happening with Kansas City. You go in and you add a back like Le'Veon Bell who can catch the ball out the backfield. That's going to be huge for that offense. And I think that's going to continue to cause problems for the rest of the league throughout the rest of this year. So I like Kansas City in that game. Next game is
Cardinals
and the Cowboys. That should be a shootout. Oh, I forgot. Dak's not playing. It won't be. I like Arizona and D-Hop to win that football.